Over 1,500 years ago, a dynasty rose in southern India that would forever change the region's art, architecture, and culture, the Pallava Empire. Centered in what is now Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, the Pallavas ruled from the 4th to the 9th century CE and became, honestly, one of India's most influential dynasties. Their reign, marked the transition from ancient to medieval South India, a time of innovation, creativity, and powerful kings who left behind temples that still stand as symbols of devotion and engineering brilliance. The story begins with Simhavishnu, who restored Pallava power after centuries of conflict, but it was under his son, Mahendravarman I, that the empire began to truly shine. Mahendravarman was not only a warrior, but also an artist, playwright, and patron of architecture. He introduced rock-cut temples, massive structures carved straight from cliffs, blending Dravidian and Buddhist architectural ideas into a new South Indian style. His creations at Mahabalipuram and Pallavaram were, honestly, unlike anything seen before, setting the stage for an artistic revolution. Then came Narasimhavarman I, known as Mamala, which literally means the great wrestler. He expanded the Pallava Empire to its peak, defeating the powerful Chalukya king Pulakeshin II in a legendary war. After his victory, he captured the Chalukya capital of Vatapi, an event so iconic that he earned the title Vatapi Konda, meaning the conqueror of Vatapi. But Narasimhavarman wasn't just a conqueror, he was a builder. Under his rule, the magnificent port city of Mahabalipuram, also called Mamalapuram, became the crown jewel of the Pallavas. Mahabalipuram stood at the crossroads of trade between India, Southeast Asia, and even the Far East. It was here that the Pallavas showcased their greatest architectural innovations: the rock-cut temples, the monolithic rathas, and the world-famous Shore Temple. Each monument reflected a combination of spirituality and engineering mastery. The 5 rathas, for instance, were carved from single stones, each dedicated to a different deity and designed in distinct architectural styles. The Shore Temple, overlooking the Bay of Bengal, became a symbol of maritime India, a structure that still defies the force of waves and time. The Pallavas were also key in shaping Dravidian temple architecture, the style that later inspired the Cholas, Pandyas, and Vijayanagara kings. They introduced the concept of the Vimana, the towering structure above the sanctum, and pioneered the idea of building temples not just for worship, but as centers of art, education, and community. But beyond architecture, the Pallavas were also champions of language and learning. Under their rule, Sanskrit and Tamil flourished side by side. They supported scholars, poets, and musicians, turning Kanchipuram, their capital, into a renowned city of learning, often compared to Nalanda in the north. It became a spiritual hub for Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism alike. Kanchipuram was home to great philosophers like Bodhidharma, who later carried the teachings of Buddhism to China and became the legendary founder of Shaolin martial arts. Culturally, the Pallava age was a time of deep transformation. Their inscriptions appear in both Sanskrit and early Tamil, showing how they balanced regional identity with imperial vision. This blend helped shape Tamil as a classical language and created a model for future South Indian kingdoms. The arts flourished: dance, sculpture, literature, all reaching new levels of expression under Pallava patronage. The Pallavas were deeply rooted in Hinduism, especially Shaivism, but they were also quite tolerant of other faiths. Their empire was home to thriving Buddhist and Jain communities. This openness led to the creation of art that reflected harmony between different beliefs, a spiritual diversity that remains part of Tamil culture today. And militarily, the Pallavas were no less impressive. They built a disciplined army and a strong navy that controlled key coastal routes. Their naval power helped them dominate trade with Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. The Pallavas exchanged not just goods, but also ideas, influencing architecture and art in places like Cambodia and Indonesia. But, no empire lasts forever. After Narasimhavarman's golden age, the Pallavas faced growing challenges: internal rivalries, external invasions, and the rise of ambitious neighbors like the Chalukyas and later the Pandyas. The dynasty's later kings, such as Mahendravarman II, struggled to maintain control against repeated attacks. Despite their efforts, the balance of power eventually shifted southward, paving the way for the rise of the Chola Empire, which inherited and perfected Pallava art and architecture. Yet even in decline, the Pallavas' influence never truly disappeared. Their architectural innovations became the foundation for South India's temple culture. The Dravidian style they pioneered evolved into masterpieces like the Brihadiswarar temple under the Cholas and the great temples of Vijayanagara centuries later. Their legacy also shaped Tamil identity, one that valued both power and creativity, both faith and intellect. Modern historians, view the Pallava period as one of transition, from rock-cut caves to fully structural temples, from regional rule to imperial ambition, and from isolated kingdoms to international trade networks. They were the true bridge between ancient India's spiritual past and the medieval era's artistic explosion. Today, when you stand before the granite giants of Mahabalipuram, the Rathas, the cave shrines, the great bas-relief of Arjuna's penance, you're not just seeing ancient stone, you're seeing a civilization that carved its dreams into the earth, line by line, hammer by hammer. You're seeing the legacy of kings who understood that power fades, but art endures. The Pallavas taught India to think beyond war and wealth, to build beauty that outlives its builders. Their empire may have fallen over 1,000 years ago, but their spirit lives on in every temple tower that rises from Tamil Nadu's soil, every sculpture that captures divinity in stone, and every rhythm of Bharatanatyam that still echoes through time. The story of the Pallavas isn't just history. It's proof that greatness isn't measured by conquest alone, but by what a civilization creates, preserves, and leaves behind for the world to remember.